So today I'm going to be giving an overview about what happens when a bill does not become a law and all that goes into that process within Congress. A good metaphor for this process is that laws are like sausage because no one wants to go into the details of how they're made. First, we're going to look into the ideas and concept of the Saturday Night Live skit How a Bill Does Not Become a Law, which is based off of the classic Schoolhouse Rock skit I'm Just a Bill. The concept for the video is to show the dirtier, non-Schoolhouse Rock version side of lawmaking that nobody wants to see by showing how a bill cannot become a law because of an executive order. The difference is that a bill needs to be passed in both houses of Congress, which are obviously the House and the Senate, before the president can sign it into a law, while an executive order does not need to be passed in either the House or the Senate and has the same effect as a law. Also, even if the president vetoes a bill already signed by Congress, it can be overridden by a 2/3 vote in both the House and Senate to still become a law. This slide you can see is the animated Schoolhouse Rock skit along with the Saturday Night Live version side by side. Now we're going to go over log rolling and what it is and how it is involved in lawmaking. So, log rolling is basically legal bribery between politicians or the trading of favors in any governmental business. This is definitely the dirtier side of lawmaking, as deals between politicians are never good. Log rolling can be as simple as saying I will vote for your bill if you vote for mine, or it can be multiple favors passed between two parties. So, like in this case, a bill can receive simple majority vote to continue the process into becoming a law. And I have also added a cartoon here that shows what log rolling is pretty much. Another dirty side to lawmaking are riders. A rider is an additional provision added to a bill that has little to do with the actual subject matter within the bill and what it hopes to accomplish. An example of a rider is the Hyde Amendment, which since 1976 has been added to appropriation bills to stop Medicaid from paying for most abortions. I have also added a simple cartoon of the process that riders are involved in lawmaking. Now, moving on to pork barrels and what role they play in lawmaking. Pork barrels are when the government spends money on a certain project solely to bring in money to a representative's district. Many have made points that pork barrels are made to bring in money to a certain point in politics at the expense of the greater public good. Also in this slide, I have added two cartoons made to show how pork barreling works, one from 1917 and the other from 2018, which shows just how long pork barreling has been in politics and how little the public agrees with these types of deals. Now I'm going to talk about some of the biggest pork barrel projects from our history. First, we have the Bridge to Nowhere, which was a proposal to make a bridge replacing the ferry that connects Ketchikan, Alaska to Gravina Island, which holds the Ketchikan International Airport. This bridge was expected to cost around $398 million and was labeled as a pork barrel project outside of Alaska, and it is also labeled as one of the more prominent bridges to nowhere. On this slide, I have also included a picture of what the project was going to look like. Another pork barrel project was the Turtle Tunnel, which was included in the $787 billion American Recovery and Reinvestment Act from 2009 to help get Americans back to work. This particular project included in the bill was located in Florida and would cost $3.4 million to construct a tunnel under Highway 27 so that wildlife could safely cross. While some said it would create jobs while keeping wildlife and drivers safer, most people thought it would be a waste of money and the worst project in the ARRA bill. Lastly, Boston's Big Dig, which is another famous alleged pork barrel project that deals with a 3.5-mile stretch of interstate highway that was going to be relocated underground. The planning for this project started in 1982 and didn't officially conclude until December 2007. The Big Dig ended up costing around $14.6 billion, or over $4 billion per mile. Now, lastly, I'll talk about some of the biggest porkers in politics over the last few years. First, we have Thad Cochran, who in 2010, was crowned King of Pork by the Pig Book after, for the third year in a row, he was the biggest earmaker, which is the spending on pork barrel projects of all, with over $500 billion in total. Next is the New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, which the Pig Book named as one of the nominees for the 2020 Porker of the Year because he demanded a $5 billion bailout from taxpayers without making common sense spending cuts. Another nominee for the 2020 Porker of the Year is Debbie Schultz, who was nominated for wanting to exhume or bring back all congressional earmarking, which has supposedly wasted over $375 billion. Lastly, in 2018, Kamala Harris was made Porker of the Month after she proposed a bill that would subsidize rent costs with taxpayer dollars. This led to her getting 37% of the vote as Porker of the Month, and her bill was estimated to cost $76 billion per year, although they projected this to rise each year. While this bill was never signed into action, it was enough to give Kamala the dishonor of becoming Porker of the Month.